Welcome to the AI Hub, a podcast for AI-driven side hustles designed for IT professionals like you.
From cutting-edge AI tools to practical, no-nonsense tips, each episode brings you closer to turning tech into income.
Tune in to discover smart and sustainable ways to boost your career and income with AI.
Welcome back to AI Hub, everyone. I'm Larry.
And I'm Amanda.
And we are so ready to jump into another deep dive with you all today.
Absolutely.
We are talking all about AI and benefits in the UK.
Oh, this is a fascinating one.
Yeah, The Guardian just released this report.
Yeah, it's a bombshell.
About how the UK government's been using AI to detect benefits fraud.
And it's been going on for years, apparently, but they've kept it very quiet.
Yeah, so this is impacting potentially millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly is this AI doing?
Well, it's looking at tons and tons of data to find claims that could be fraudulent.
So it's like a filter.
Right, and then it flags those for human caseworkers to look at more closely.
Okay, so the AI isn't actually making the final decision?
No, not at all. It's just flagging them for further investigation.
I see, so that brings up the concern about transparency, right?
Exactly. The government hasn't really been open about how this system works.
Right.
And that's led to some people worrying about what they're calling mass surveillance.
Yeah, I can see why people would be concerned about that, especially with the potential for bias.
Absolutely. The Guardian investigation actually suggests that the system might be unfairly flagging UK nationals more often than non-UK nationals.
Wow, that's pretty unsettling.
Yeah, it really raises questions about how this technology is actually being used and, how did this potential bias even get into the system in the first place?
Right. Was it the data they used to train the AI?
Yeah.
Or was it the way the algorithm was designed?
It's hard to say without more transparency, and that lack of transparency is really fueling a lot of the criticism.
Yeah, I can see that people are arguing that vulnerable people are being unfairly targeted by this technology, and it's a sensitive issue with some really big consequences for people who rely on these benefits.
Absolutely.
So what is the UK government saying about all of this?
Well, they're saying that the AI is just a tool to help caseworkers do their jobs more efficiently and to combat genuine benefit fraud.
So they're focusing on the efficiency aspect of it.
Yeah, and they're also saying that the system isn't replacing human judgment. The caseworkers still make the final decision.
Right, but it sounds like they're not really addressing the specific concerns about bias, are they?
Not in a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Which, just leads to more skepticism.
I can see that.
And calls for accountability.
Right.
What's interesting is that this case really connects to a much bigger issue we're seeing with AI.
Yeah.
It's this concern about bias popping up everywhere.
Yeah, like facial recognition technology.
Exactly.
Loan applications, even healthcare.
Everywhere.
It seems like wherever AI is being used to make decisions that impact people's lives, there's this risk of bias creeping in.
Yeah, and it really emphasizes how important it is to understand how these algorithms work and to make sure they're being used ethically.
Absolutely. We've only scratched the surface here.
Oh, yeah, there's so much more to unpack.
There is.
So stick with us. Before we were talking about how the government is saying that caseworkers ultimately have the final say, but that still brings up some interesting questions, right?
It does, yeah.
I mean, how much influence does the AI's assessment have?
Yeah, does it kind of lead the caseworkers to make a certain decision even if they don't realize it?
Exactly. And even if they're trying to be objective,
right,
that flag from the AI might already create some doubt in their mind.
Yeah, it's like, first impressions really matter.
Right.
So if the AI is already saying, hey, watch out for this one.
Exactly.
It might make the caseworker more likely to scrutinize that claim even more.
Yeah, or even look for evidence that supports what the AI is saying.
Right, and that's confirmation bias.
Exactly. And if the AI system itself is already biased, then those biases are going to affect the human decisions too.
Yeah, it just creates this kind of a loop.
Right, a vicious cycle.
So then we're not just talking about an issue with the AI, it becomes a bigger problem.
Absolutely. This is about real people's lives.
Right.
This is about whether or not someone can afford to put food on the table, pay their rent, take care of their families.
It's a really big deal.
It's huge.
So that brings us back to this idea of testing. We need to make sure these AI systems are tested thoroughly.
And not just for accuracy.
Right.
We need to be looking for bias.
At every step of the way.
At every single stage, and that testing needs to be independent.
Right.
It needs to be transparent. We can't just have the people who built the AI saying, oh yeah, it's fine.
It has to be people from the outside checking it.
Right. We need external experts, we need independent audits, and the public should be able to scrutinize it too.
So this is a big job.
It That is a huge job.
And then there's the data itself.
Oh, yeah.
What about the data that's being fed into these AI systems?
Yeah, if that data is already biased.
Right. Like if it's reflecting societal inequalities,
then the AI is just going to learn those biases and keep perpetuating them.
It's like if you teach a kid with a biased textbook.
Exactly.
They're just going to absorb that information.
Right. And we need to be really, really careful about the data that we use to train these systems.
So this is getting pretty complicated, huh?
It is. It's multifaceted.
Yeah, we need to be looking at bias in the data, in the algorithms themselves.
Yeah.
How people are interacting with these systems and the whole societal context.
The whole picture.
This is a big challenge.
It is a huge challenge, but we have to solve it.
Yeah.
Because the benefits of AI are amazing.
Yeah.
But those benefits are going to be meaningless if we don't deal with these ethical issues.
It really comes down to responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, we're the ones building these technologies. We need to make sure that they're being used to benefit everybody.
It's about shaping the future.
Absolutely. In this case, with a benefit system in the UK.
It's just one example of a much bigger conversation we need to be having about AI in our society and how we use it ethically.
Yeah, we're at a really crucial point right now.
Absolutely. The choices we make today are going to have such a big impact on what happens in the future.
These are some pretty big ideas we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And we've really just scratched the surface.
There's always more to discuss.
Let's take a moment to reflect, and we'll come back with some final thoughts on this important topic. And we are back on AI Hub, wrapping up our deep dive on AI being used in the UK benefits system.
Yeah, this has been a fascinating conversation.
It has, right?
We've gone from the nitty-gritty details of this specific case to thinking about, the bigger picture of AI and ethics.
Yeah, it seems like every time we peel back a layer,
there's another layer.
There's another layer
underneath it.
Yeah.
It's pretty complex.
But that's what makes it so important to talk about.
Absolutely.
We can't just ignore these difficult questions.
Yeah, exactly. We have to lean into them.
And I think one of the key takeaways here is that AI isn't like a completely neutral, objective thing.
Right. It's not just this magical tool that always gets it right.
Yeah, it's shaped by so many factors.
Yeah, the data it learns from the algorithms people write.
The humans who are building it.
All of those things can lead to bias.
And sometimes in ways that we don't even realize.
Absolutely.
So then the question becomes, what can we do about it?
Right. How do we make sure that AI is used ethically and responsibly?
Especially when we're talking about systems that have such a huge impact on people's lives.
Yeah, the stakes are really high here.
They are.
And I think the first step is just admitting that there's a problem.
Right, acknowledging that these systems aren't perfect.
Exactly. We can't get caught up in the hype.
Right.
And pretend like AI is always going to be this amazing force for good.
Because it can also do harm.
Absolutely.
So once we've done that, then what?
Well, then we have to start demanding more transparency.
From the people who are building these AI systems.
Right. We need to know what's going on under the hood.
What data are they using?
How do these algorithms actually work?
What are they doing to try to prevent bias?
All of those questions.
Transparency is super important.
Yeah, but it's not enough.
Right.
We also need to establish some ground rules.
Like ethical guidelines.
Yeah, or regulations even.
To make sure that AI is developed responsibly.
That prioritize things like fairness.
And accountability.
Right, making sure that human well-being is always at the center.
It sounds like we need a whole bunch of different things to tackle this.
Yeah, we need technical solutions to try to fix the algorithms themselves.
We need to test these systems really rigorously.
And audit them.
Yeah, and we need clear rules and guidelines.
Absolutely.
But maybe even more important.
Yeah.
We need to be having these conversations out in the open.
Open and honest discussions about how AI is affecting our society.
This isn't just a problem for tech experts to solve.
It's a problem for all of us.
Yeah, it's a societal issue.
And we need everyone at the table to figure out the best way forward.
Developers, policymakers, researchers.
The public?
We all need to work together.
To make sure that AI is used to benefit everyone.
This is a huge challenge, but it's one we have to face head on.
It is.
The decisions we make about AI right now are going to shape the world for a long time to come.
Yeah, this isn't just about technology, it's about our future.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation.
It really has.
We've covered so much ground today.
It's been a pleasure.
And to all of you listening out there, thank you so much for joining us on AI Hub.
We hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought.
Yeah, we hope it's inspired you to learn more about this incredibly important topic.
Absolutely.
And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the world of AI.
We'll see you next time.
Keep those minds curious.
Welcome to the AI Hub, a podcast for AI-driven side hustles designed for IT professionals like you.
From cutting-edge AI tools to practical, no-nonsense tips, each episode brings you closer to turning tech into income.
Tune in to discover smart and sustainable ways to boost your career and income with AI.